What's up, y'all? It's just Rhonda. Welcome to my channel. Good morning, High Vibe. Everybody in the classroom, raise your hand. What you drinking this morning? I'm on some caffeinated, but trust and believe there's probably more caffeinated than I need. So I'm definitely going to be on this H2O this morning. You can't write your name at the top of someone's priority list. That's what we're going to start this morning. Y'all like the video, subscribe to the channel. You cannot write your name at the top of somebody's priority list. Good morning, T. I feel like we get ourselves into a lot of trouble sometimes doing that. Whose name is at the top of your priority list? Because if it's not your own name, then I feel like you might not be doing it right. And I'm speaking for myself. I think, you know, as women, especially, I'm a woman. I can't speak on behalf of men. I can only speak on their behaviors. And I feel like they be at the top of their own priority list. Good morning, Lotus Egyptian Flower. Everybody's here. These extra 15 minutes, do y'all like 10, 15 better? Um I feel like these 15 minutes give y'all a chance to, get your mocha matcha, your tea, your water, your smoothie, whatever it is we sipping on in the morning. And so I might just move it to 10, 15 because it seems like it's a little more convenient for everybody. Y'all let me know. Mine in all caps. That's what I'm talking about, High Vibe. You got to be at the top of your own priority list because if not, you're going to be full of sadness and disappointment. You know how when you're on an airplane and they say put the mask on yourself first because if you don't put the mask on yourself, then good can you be for anybody else? I think as women, a lot of times we prioritize our kids, our husbands, significant others, what have you. You got to get to this job, and even though we're not necessarily in boss positions, a lot of the times we have more sense than people that are in leadership positions. So you'd be putting other things on the top of your priority list, and I feel like your priority list needs to, it needs to start with you. So it brings me to a little something I seen. Let me just go ahead and get into it because, your kids gonna go ahead and go and trust and believe they are not. If I look in my kitchen behind the times, go in my refrigerator behind any of my children, adult children, not talking about little children. It seems as though I was not the priority when they walked in that kitchen and put things in the refrigerator in places that they don't go. Or if I go out in the garage and know somebody decided that throwing a bag on the floor in front of the trash can is, I don't know, quicker, easier, lazier than just putting it actually in the trash can. So as I walk around my house, I realize my name ain't at the top of nobody's priority list. You say the airline says do what? Put the mask on before assisting your infant. It's true. Because if you pass out, what good is your infant going to do? We're going to take infants off the list. You know what I'm saying? Infants need to be a priority right up underneath yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to take care of you first. So it's, happy, belated Easter to everybody, that did Easter things. It's Monday. We was over here cooking. Do you know I didn't cook a doggone thing yesterday? It felt so good. I had plans, to make it right and make it nice like Dorinda. And then I planned to not. Like I said, my kids are grown. And I was like, did nobody decide to cook me Easter dinner? You know what I'm saying? My daughter worked, so the babies were here. Now I had to put my babies on the list. So yeah, they did. Even though they're little, I had to get my baby a little, Easter. He got an Easter bucket, not an Easter basket. I filled his bucket with cars and bubbles and trucks and things and a little bit of candy, not too much. He's just getting his teeth. We don't want to ruin them before they get in good. Good morning, Ja Tony. Everybody's here. I think the 15 minutes, y'all let me know in the chat if these 15 minutes is working out for y'all. So putting your somebody else at the top of your priority list. Let's go ahead and get into the things. I seen this maybe yesterday. It's not a whole lot of celebrity good things going on, but to me that's fine because their stories don't always be the most interesting. I feel like a lot of times what we do over here is, we focus on things that are excellent and history and black and all of the above. these people popped up. Jada Pinkett Smith says no matter how hard Will Smith tried to make her happy, it didn't work. She later realized it was her fault, and happiness is up to her. Jada Pinkett Smith has been candid in recent years about her personal journey, marriage, and evolving understanding of happiness. In multiple interviews and in her memoir, Worthy, she reflected on unrealistic expectations she once placed on her relationship with Will Smith. Like many people, she initially believed that a partner could fulfill her emotional needs and bring lasting happiness. However, over time, Jada came to the a pivotal realization no matter how much effort Will put into the marriage, her happiness could not come from him alone. She acknowledged that she had to take responsibility for her own emotional well being. This shift in perspective marked a turning point as she began focusing more on self awareness, healing, and personal growth. Her reflection highlight a broader truth about relationships. While love and support from a partner are important, they cannot replace inner fulfillment. Jada's story resonates with many because it challenges the idea that happiness is something someone else can provide instead of emphasizing accountability, self-work, importance of developing a strong sense of self within a partnership. When did she come to this realization, I wonder? Because I feel like it was late in the relationship. For me, this isn't so much about Jada and Will. At some point, people made them, couple goals, which is, I think, a unhealthy mindset. Worthy was unworthy of my reading and waste of time. I did not read it because I do not assign to whatever Jada's wokeness is. I find her kind of annoying. I liked her, as an actress. Unfortunately, she stopped doing that. The more she talks, the more it sounds like she's the reason why, I don't know what this marriage was, to be honest. That's why I think couple goals are ridiculous. But like I said, we do spend a lot of time over here. I do discussing dating shows and relationship shows and reality shows that are based on relationships. And I feel like a big part of our conversation on a daily is somehow involves relationships. There's a lot of, advice. I'm not here to give anybody advice because, I don't have any intentions of doing matrimony, but I am a relationship person. I've been in long-term relationships. I'm not somebody that enjoys dating around. That's not my thing. I find somebody I like and I'm in it. And there's, distance between it. It's not easy to find someone you like, but it's never going to be healthy. I don't care if you're 25 or 65. If you go into a relationship not understanding how to be happy on your own. I'm not a person who hops from relationship to relationship. I know there's a lot of people out there that have the crossover. There's men and women, there's different reasons why. Like I said, I'm not speaking from a man's perspective. I'm speaking from a woman's perspective as, the crossover, the in and out. You're out of one relationship and right into another one. And I think a little bit of it has a lot to do with, the pressure that society puts on women to be attached matrimony to somebody. There's not a whole lot of focus on, knowing yourself, loving yourself, and it's not healthy, or it doesn't really play into the patriarchy that, that we're raised under. So we're Cinderella story. That's the first story we hear, one of the first as a young child. We hear it's always, our and I'm a Gen Xer. So we grew up with Cinderella and Snow White and all these stories of all these helpless princesses that were looking for Prince Charming to come and, sweep them off their feet. But in the, pursuit of Prince Charming, we got stomped on, beat up on by evil stepsisters. We got poisoned with apples from some jealous queen. It's not an easy road to get to this happily ever after that doesn't exist unless you know what you want. I don't know if y'all watch Bell Collective, but I review Bell Collective, and there's a cast member on there, Selena, who it just turned 50 and is planning this wedding to this. I'm gonna call him a no good ass nigga. I don't know if that's the truth about the man, but I feel like if you're gonna be matrimony to somebody and there's baby rumors out in the streets over somebody that's 50 damn years old, um, yeah, I don't co-sign for Big Mike. Good morning, Elsid. Elsid's in the bushes. She at work, so she gonna have to whisper. So we hear Elsid. We won't be too loud because we don't want to get you in trouble down to the job. Yeah, I feel like the pressure, even at 50 years old, to be married to someone when you don't know yourself. And I feel like even at 50 years old, Selena still does not know herself. Like, share, and subscribe. That's what El Cid said. And we, know that El Cid is the leader of the chat, whether she be in the bushes or, whether she, is absent. El Cid, your name comes up a lot in the absence of your presence. I just want you to know that we still love and talk about you even when you don't be here. Um, yeah. So as far as Jada and Will, I could not care less. I feel like Jada's a whole problem, and Will could quite possibly be a problem as well. But I want us to look into our own, and I wonder if it's because we're not putting ourselves on the top of our priority list. Selena is a Jezebel. It's it. Why you say that, High Five? Why you call Selena a Jezebel? She didn't do anything, did she? And now you got tea I don't have. I know Selena is somewhere in a room with a folding table making earrings at 15 years old. And I'm a crafter and a creator, so I'm not knocking that. But I just feel like we as women are a lot of times under pressure. Shout out to this new generation of women who are focused on themselves and not necessarily be a matrimony to somebody. Love is a distraction. So if you loving the wrong person, they're not going to uplift you to do, what you need to do. They're going to, be a distraction, be in the way. Sometimes be your downfall. Will and Jada are over here dedicated to being in a bad marriage for life. I don't recommend that to anybody. I am not interested in being in a bad marriage for life. But I think, you think she cheated on her first husband? Not JJ. That was a long time ago. I don't know that she cheated on him or not. I know JJ was very much a lot older than Selena. And so, yeah, we get into that over at the Bell Collective conversation. But I do know Selena does not know who she is. And a lot of times that's because she's distracted by being a mom and a wife. She got how many kids over there? She had a son and then Sanjay. So she had 4 children. That's a lot. I had 3, 4 sounds like so much more. I had 3, not all at the same time. There's big gaps between my kids. She cheated with Cliff. Oh, now T want to chime in. Ew. She cheated on JJ with Cliff. That's right. There was some crossover over there. Whole time Selena wasn't spending any time like figuring out who she is as a woman, as a person. She has not been at the top of her list, and not being at the top of your priority list can get you into trouble because you be out here trying to please other people, whether it be a JJ or whether it be a Cliff. And now she over here with a Mike. It seemed like she making the same bad decisions over and over and over again, like a lot of us do. Anyway, yeah, I thought that was interesting that Jada waited until, I don't know when she waited until to decide to figure out that she's responsible for her own happiness. Um, and like I said, I think that's a lot of our problems as women. She's lost. I hope she's successful in her business, but this marriage is a transaction. I feel like it's also a distraction because I mean we can get into the conversation. We don't have no rules over here. I feel like it's a distraction because she is a belle right now. She's on this platform. She was, on Dancing Dolls or Bring It, whatever that show was called. DD4L, she was over there, but that wasn't about her. That was about the dancers. I mean, yeah, the kids. This is her opportunity. She's a belle. And I feel like Mike is nothing but a distraction. This lady went out of the way. We'll talk about it when I review Bell Collective. Y'all probably get that sometime tomorrow. But she's over here doing stupid stuff like going to Colombia to get her teeth fixed for a wedding. This money could be invested in whatever business that she's in. I feel like Marie and Selena are a lot the same, except for Marie has money, so it's going to be a little bit harder for her. I think women with money have a harder time. Um, Women with money have a harder time finding a match because men get all intimidated by your coin. But I feel like there's someone out there that Selena can maybe learn from. She's 50, but you never stop. I'm gonna try to stay green as long as I can, because if I'm not green, I'm not growing. The only other thing is being dead down to the root. So yeah, I'm gonna try to stay green. She's 50. She's in a new phase of her life, and at a place where she has an opportunity to be around someone who can help her grow. I don't think that's what Mike is, but I think she got married to that man yesterday or sometime this week. You gonna blame Will for Jada being weird now? She was down to earth before him. I don't know. Was she? I think I don't know, because I feel like I only knew Jada from the characters that she played in the movies that she played in. And so maybe that's what, in my mind sight made her feel like she was more down to earth. I think anybody that gets over there Hollywood is bound to become weird. Um, yeah, at whatever point, I mean, her Will got married pretty early on, so yeah, both of them was over there doing Holly weird things. You like her teeth? Her teeth are not supposed to be the same size. Not only that, these people, the people, not y'all, but the people that are out there going to Colombia, Selena is someone with a medical history of having strokes and seizures and things. The last thing she should have been doing is going over there, getting anything done in her mouth, which is probably, the most serious surgery you can have. Yeah, that's why dentists send you to oral surgeons, because oral surgery is, very, you could get paralyzed in your face. All kind of bad things can happen if you're with the wrong doctor. So she all the way over in Colombia where these doctors can't even communicate with each other. And, for what we gonna see, she gonna be over there, being in trouble medically again. We'll need to get back to West Philly. Do they want him in Philly anymore? I feel like they're so out of touch. Will and Jada are like Beyonce and Jay-Z. At some point, they're not like us. They're not like us. You say, I don't know, it's hard to say because we didn't have much info on Jada back in the day. I only heard she was bi back in the day. I feel like they both might be bi. And maybe if they had explored those things, you know what I'm saying, early on, because back then it was very much taboo to be publicly doing, whatever your spice might be. Um, but yeah, I only knew Jada from, we liked her because of the roles that she played, but I don't know, like she was very much, and then you have to think about her upbringing. Like we look at her beautiful mother now, but her beautiful mother used to be drug addicted. And so those are the issues, that people who are raised by drug addicted parents, those types of issues to take into a relationship before you get a chance to know who you are. Will been being accused, they still saying Will was bending niggas over, my bad, bending people over chairs and things that, may or may not have been, male. I don't know. I don't care because, they found each other. They have these, children and, raising their family. I only hear good things about little, what's his name? Jaden. Jaden is out here doing things for the community. But then, we got Jada over here who was having entanglements with that young boy. So much weird things were going on over there in that relationship. And nobody should be couple goals because we're all different. And how two people come together is It's magic. It is. It's magic when you fall for someone. It should be, if it's healthy. Not all of it is magic, but if it's healthy, I'm only talking in healthy terms. If it's healthy, it's magic. It's not easy to find love. So if you're lucky enough to find someone who, your hearts connect with one another, you absolutely have to be grounded within yourself, because relationships are hard, and going back and forth between two people is not easy. Anyway, make sure you put yourself at the top of the priority list, because you can't be happy with what RuPaul say. If you don't love yourself, how the hell you gonna love somebody else? Can I get an amen? What else we got going on over here? um let's get into a little news. California governor signs executive order requiring watermarks on images or videos generated by AI to combat misinformation. I hope this is a thing. We don't know. Now I'm side eyeing Gavin. I can't trust everything he over here doing. But anyway, California has introduced new rules requiring companies seeking state contracts to prove they have protection in place against AI misuse. The order signed by Governor Gavin Newsom focused on preventing issues like illegal content, bias, misinformation, and civil rights violations. Agencies will also be required to label AI generated images and videos to reduce misinformation. The state may independently access companies flagged as risks by the federal government rather than automatically banning them. Officials are expected to develop new certification standards within 120 days to ensure companies follow responsible AI practices. The move reflects California's effort to make a leading role in regulating artificial intelligence and ensuring public safety. I think this should definitely be everywhere. This should be a law everywhere, because I'm tired of not knowing what I'm looking at and having to investigate things. What'd you say? How about we kick Gavin off the list because we can read the room? Well, this is the thing, High Vibe. We are in a critical time where we have to, you know, walk through the shit to pick out a nugget of, I don't know, rocks, because there ain't no gold over there in the political pool. So if small things like this, we go focus on the smaller picture. I can't even begin to think about what's really happening out there, because first of all, we have no control over it. And second of all, I think it's really bad. I think it's really, really bad, way far worse than, we ain't seen it yet. High Vibe, T wants to know, what did Gavin do? T, I be getting a lot of backlash on Gavin. So I haven't done much investigation yet. But as far as this AI is concerned, I hope there are regulations put in. I think a watermark is a great idea. That way, when we're scrolling along, we know that something is real or not. You know what I'm saying? Because as far as celebrities go, and if it's celebrities, then it could tap into our real life too, obviously. But as far as celebrities go, we see pictures every day, and we're like, "Is that who? Are they together? What?" So if it's fake, yeah, I feel like you should not be able to just put it out there. I feel like you shouldn't just be able to put it out there as truth. Lotus Egyptian Flower says, I know, but sometimes he does the right thing. Gavin is definitely riding the fence. He's a politician. So how do you get off the fence as a politician? You know what I'm saying? Especially when you're negotiating. I mean, he's a white man. So that's, all I have to say about that. But some of the decisions he's making for California, I definitely think should be, used across the board. This one is a big one. I'm pretty sure he will be throwing his hat in for presidency. So once he does that, then right now he's just a California thing. Once he does that, I would like to for sure do a deep dive, follow his path. He probably smarter than Chili. He probably already start cleaning up things that were, all politicians are problematic. I look at it that way. I'm not I voted for Obama, Michelle Obama, loved the first lady and all of that and all of that. But I see them as politicians as well. So all politicians, go had a little, dirt on their ankles. T say, I feel like a lot of backlash on him is put out there because he used Trump's biggest competition or is Trump's biggest competition. I don't know what's going on, like in terms of the whole political situation. Is Trump, there's only one way out for him. I feel like we all would like to just see it end. I hate to put it that way, but can we just not? Anyway, I do hope that there's these types of regulations put on AI because it's getting way too out of control. And when I say out of control, so I saw this. So Dubai's newest AI baby feeding pod will shock you. AI baby care in 2026. Dubai's future is here. I don't want this future. Y'all will do anything with your babies, want to. Do you want to be a mama or not? What y'all saying over here? Let me see. If he said those things, then I'll cancel him myself. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Where did I miss? High vibe. Okay. We talking about Gavin Newsom over here. He made strange public comment to young black people, something to the effect that he's like them because he can't read. And okay, so that's actually misinformation. High vibe. That was like a clip of a conference that was not mostly black people. It was not a political forum. It was his book. It was about his book. And he was talking about the fact that he has dyslexia and, saying that he's not like, how Trump is always saying, I'm paraphrasing, that he's better. He's like, I'm not better than you. So he was definitely talking about himself. And yeah, that was not a black crowd. It was a black interviewer. But yeah, because I did that story and I had to dig a little deeper on that one. So yeah, he wasn't saying it in the context that it was put out. And so I'm glad they cleared that up. Roblox looks like a movie mother. This is weird to me. And so when I've seen it, and there's babies in this house. They used that clip to trash him. They did. And so yeah, I'm glad I seen the bigger picture. So for right now, I'm still like, I'm not team anyone, but I am team let's get this trash out of the house because the whole joint is stunk up around here. So yeah, I'm like, this is so for me, the whole robot thing, I think is a little bit deeper than, it's a mindset. And so I was looking at, here we go. The importance of human touch for an infant, because that's not human touch. And that's not necessarily like my granddaughter yesterday. She was sleepy and cranky and hungry all at the same time. And she wanted her bottle, but she didn't want it. And sometimes you have to figure out things in order to find out what their comfort is. And sticking a robot titty in the mouth, I don't think is necessarily the right way to go. Human touch is vital for infants and toddlers. Let me make sure I'm sharing the right everything like I'm supposed to. Human touch is vital for infants and toddlers, acting as a foundation for physical, emotional, and cognitive development. It regulates physiological systems, heart rate, breathing, stress hormones, boosts immune function, enhances brain development, and fosters secure attachment. Regular physical contact, such as holding, hugging, and skin to skin care, reduces crying, improves sleep, and supports faster weight gain. Touch helps stabilize a baby's body temperature, heart rate, and breathing. It also lowers cortisol, stress hormone, levels and triggers oxytocin release, promoting calm and security. Regular physical interaction builds secure attachments and trust, allowing infants to feel safe, which enhances their ability to soothe themselves later. Physical contact stimulates the brain development, leading to better cognitive outcome, improved motor skills, and in many cases, faster development of walking and crawling. Immune system and growth. Infants who are held and touched regularly often develop stronger immune systems, experiencing better digestion and gain weight faster. Early affectionate touch is linked to better social skills, less aggression in school, and higher education achievements later in life. You see these little kids walking around crashing out. Maybe it's because their mama ain't holding them. Skin to skin contact, crucial for newborns, particularly prematures, to regulate their psychological system. Infant massage can improve circulation and help with relaxation. Caregiving, responsive caregiving, holding, rocking, hugging during daily routines. A daily routine is absolutely feeding, providing emotional comfort. The absence of consistent touch can lead to developmental delays, higher stress, emotional issues, regular physical affection, and crucial for healthy brain development and overall well being. So, I don't know if it's going to be smart for you to hand in your baby over to a robot, to a titty robot. I don't know that that's the best answer. Um, is this why they deem nurses a non professional degree? I think that's more of an attack on women just because nurses are, the nursing field is, predominantly women. And you run across some male nurses, but it's mostly women. So I feel like that's an attack on them. Like our career choices are going to be deemed unprofessional. You say, I also feel like Trump is worried about Tellerico, waiting to see what he's putting out there about him next. I mean, Tellerico is what y'all got over there in Texas. So, you know, I don't know that Donald Trump is smart enough to be scared. He just goes in wherever they sit him and, tells himself fantasy stories and he believes that shit. And then he comes out and says, you know what? I'm going to do some other dumb shit today. They experiment on the babies. I don't trust it. I don't like it. Like I said, they're the lack of physical touch it's gonna cause detachment. I feel like in the babies, like in the baby stages, when you do the most hugging and holding, you know what I mean? So I'm not sure why that's a thing. I mean, I guess I understand why, because these folks don't love their children the same way we love ours. And like the little girl the other day, the young lady the other day that busted out her mama's car windows because she was mad. Like I feel like these are definite connections from one thing to another. You got to hold your baby. You know what I'm saying? And sticking it on a robot, I feel like is borderline, what do they call it? Child abuse. Because that's not how that's done. Y'all are getting way too comfortable. Y'all put your babies in AI buses and stick them in the thing and they go to school by themselves. Y'all just don't like the children. And when I say y'all, I don't mean y'all, but them. It's scary. What else we got going on, child? Let me clear some of this stuff out before I cause a disaster. I don't know. I love touching my babies and holding my babies and my grandchildren. I'm a hug and squeeze them as much as I can because that time goes by so fast. And I do believe it helps them emotionally regulate. You can sit with a child and have a conversation, and when they're throwing a tantrum, rather than resorting to violence and other ways to discipline them. Tennessee. Tennessee passes law making it easier for people with felonies to regain voting rights by ending requirements to fully pay child support before eligibility. Now show 2 years of compliance. So, Tennessee has passed a new law that makes it easier for people with felony convictions to regain their voting rights. The change removes strict financial barriers, including a unique rule that required individuals to fully pay off child support before becoming eligible. Now people can qualify if they stayed current on child support payments for the past 2 years rather than paying everything owed. The law also separates voting rights restoration from requirements to pay all court costs. Supporters say this is the biggest step in decades towards expanding voting access for formerly incarcerated individuals. Lawmakers from both parties back the measure, though some Republicans raised concern about unpaid balances. The law took, I don't want to hear Republicans talking about nothing about being paid balances. The law took effect immediately and is part of a broader national trend of state revised voting rights rules for people with felony convictions. I'm not mad at this. Actually, I feel like there's still a restriction there. You still have to be at least 2 years current. Um, you still hold your baby. Which one? Your 20-something-year-old baby girl, your football star baby boy, or your grandbaby, or all of the above. I feel like 2 years of consistent child support payments, it's just like getting your credit report together. For the rest of these guys that's out here not paying their child support, they're not voting either. So I don't know that that makes a difference, but I do think that the rules were set up to make sure that people with felonies, first of all, a lot of them are in jail, not a lot of them, but some of them, maybe a lot, are in jail, for things that they didn't do, or, laws designed to incarcerate people of color. I do feel like I said, if you're like paying consistently for 2 years, it sounds like somebody who is getting things in order and should then be able to vote. Paying off the whole thing, 2 years is a step towards that. And I don't feel like we need to like be keeping people from voting based on, you know, political lines, because that's what they're doing. You say child support should have anything to do with voting. I don't think so either, but they're trying to tip the scales in their favor. So yeah, I don't understand. Like, and then you want them to pay it off in full. That right there is I still got questions. What does that mean in court costs? So they're looking for little, ways to keep people from voting. And I don't know when this goes in effect, but I do think it's a good thing. Because we got a lot of shiesty, I'm so like, I'm not concerned, but I'm curious as to see what the whole situation is going to look like when it's time for us to get to the polls anyway, because what a mess. So I thought this was interesting. Fox News questions a string of missing or deceased highly important scientists connected to sensitive research. Everybody was like, Fox News. Yeah, I'm always skeptical, but this is everybody's story, I suppose. Fox News is drawing attention to a series of unexplained deaths and disappearances among U.S. scientists and lab personnel, continues to raise concern, with 2 new cases adding to at least 8 reported incidents since 2024. Frank Maywald, a 61-year-old NASA scientist, died on July 4, 2024 in Los Angeles under unclear circumstances. No cause of death was released and no autopsy was performed. He worked at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory since 1999, specializing in advanced satellite systems. And now we listening to everything. Did he have some information? Probably. In 2023, he led research that could help detect signs of life on worlds like Europa, Enceladus, and Ceres. These are planets in Greek mythology. Despite his senior status and recognition, NASA has not publicly addressed his death, and they won't. In separate case, Anthony Chavez, a 79-year-old retired employee of Los Alamos National Laboratory, disappeared on May 24, 2025. Nearly a year later, investigators say there's still no leads. His disappearance came just weeks before another individual tied to the same lab also went missing. While no official link connects these cases, the growing number of unexplained incidents within high-level research environments is drawing increasing attention. Let's hear what he has.
Very sensitive research who have died or disappeared. Carl Gromar, pictured here, was an astrophysicist at Caltech. He worked on a NASA-supported Space Telescope project and infrared systems. Now, he was shot and killed at his home just 2 months ago. Then there's Frank Maywald. He was a senior scientist at NASA's Jet Propulsion Lab, focused on advanced satellite systems, and he died nearly 2 years ago, but his cause of death has never been made public. Meanwhile, Monica Reza also reportedly connected to NASA's Jet Propulsion Lab project. She went missing last summer while hiking in California. No trace. There's William McCaslin, a retired Air Force general. He, too, is missing. He's a former head of Air Force Research Lab and oversaw advanced space and surveillance programs. He's been missing since February. And reports say he once oversaw funding connected to a project that also included Monica Reza to New Mexico. Melissa Casais. She has been missing since last summer. She worked at Los Alamos National Lab. She had an administrative role, but reportedly also had security clearances. Just months earlier, she went missing. So too did Anthony Chavez, also connected to Los Alamos, an engineer. He disappeared during a walk. No signs, no answers. And then finally, there's Nuno Loureiro. He was the MIT researcher focused on nuclear fusion and was shot and killed in his Massachusetts home last December. Authorities have not connected these cases, but look at the overlap. The same handful of institutions, NASA, Air Force Research, Los Alamos Laboratory. So, could they be connected? Or is this something else? Thinking about a number of U.S. scientists.
So, I mean, I think that's weird. Let's see what y'all are talking about. It's been a whole conversation going on. Elsie said another layer of ID to vote. You owe child support and the license suspended already. Yeah, it's gonna be a mess out there when we get to the polls. Get your paperwork in order. It says, this report about scientists is wild. Did they say what these people were researching? Well, satellite research, according to this story, NASA is out there being real shady with, with whatever it is they're learning over there. And, satellites means, Big Brother is watching. The fact that Fox is reporting this is telling. Well, what is your opinion on that? Because I'm like, so are they jumping ship? You know what I'm saying? Because they usually, Fox be in their pocket. So what does it really mean? I'm curious. Like, and a lot of the comments were like, okay, so this is coming from Fox News. So it happened. It's information that's easily researchable. Another Tennessee trick law. Maybe, but it's a baby step. What'd you say, Jatoni? They pulled a 12-inch blade out 3 inches. One day we'll get it right. Vote after we do our time inside. Oh, you talking about felony voting. Yeah, I really am curious, what was Fox News's incentive for sharing this story? You said seems like the reporter is finding work to stay employed. This is nothing new. They don't. You say global warming is a joke to them. It ain't gonna be funny in a minute because we can all feel it. Yeah, science is one of those things that's very big on the STEM program. I think Black folks have been very um, high on the list of people who are excelling in STEM. We talk about it every day, especially in like telecommunications and things of that nature. You say Fox is supposedly right wing and they don't believe in science. I also think there's a distraction component too. A little bit, maybe. I don't Fox News, but I don't. It doesn't surprise me though that places like NASA are disposing of people with information. I think this is allegedly. Let me say allegedly. These companies that they work for. When I hear stories like this, it makes me think of Silkwood. If you haven't ever seen, y'all have probably seen Silkwood, but you know, Silkwood was Cher when she worked for that nuclear plant and she got information and then they targeted her. It always makes me think of that, you know, how you can work with these companies and, you know, you scientists are always coming up with information. You know what I'm saying? That, you know, can either be diabolical if it's getting into the wrong hands or progressive, like AI, for instance. It's a tool that could definitely be used in a good way. However, it seems like the nastiness of it all has, you know, skyrocketed past any of the good things. So now AI is just questionable altogether. Speaking of speaking of missing people, you said what's their color because they don't care when we go missing. I heard Chavez. Their color is brown. I don't see any black scientists over here, but I do see some brown people. Couple few non-melanated, but yeah, these people are not necessarily non-melanated. Anthony Chavez, I think the lady's name, I forget her name, Cavassa or something like that. Casillas. So yeah, these are brown people. These are others that are missing. Um, Speaking of missing, why are we no longer talking about Savannah Guthrie's mother? The lady we just forget it. We was in touch every day. It seemed like with updates about Savannah Guthrie and, you know, what the kidnappers was saying. But now nothing. Savannah went back to work last Monday. So, you know, she back on TV. Savannah Guthrie returned to her co-anchor position on the Today Show on Monday, over 2 months after her mother, Nancy Guthrie, went missing. Guthrie, who's been a co-anchor for the weekday morning show since 2012, returned to the desk at Rockefeller Center Studio 1A wearing a smile and a yellow dress, the same color as the flowers and ribbons that people have been leaving outside her mom's Arizona residence in tribute. After teasing the news story of the day, Iran and the Artemis II lunar flyby, March Madness, and more, Guthrie briefly acknowledged her homecoming. "We are so glad you started your week with us, and it's good to be home," she said, prompting a warm welcome from co-host Craig Melvin, who was wearing a yellow tie. Where this lady's mama? Savannah, where your mama? Why are we not talking about this anymore? You know, y'all disrupted our lives. You know, the lady went missing. She in her 80s, but I find it very strange that it's just no longer a thing. We're just not going to discuss it anymore. They was all down to TMC. What is it? TMZ reporting stories. They had, you know, shook down some DoorDash driver. Something about the case is still not right as we wait. We probably won't hear nothing else about it. We probably won't hear anything else about it. It just slowly, just one day we was talking about it and the next day we weren't. So I don't know if we're still looking, they said, and the lady went back to work. So, I mean, I guess she had to go back to work, but I find it very odd. They know who's responsible. Still think 47 has something to do with it. I do too, because we know Savannah was out here speaking to these Epstein files survivors. And I feel like it seemed like all these things at one time was happening. Savannah's mama went missing. Don Lemon got arrested. They just coming after the media that was talking about those Epstein files. So I don't know, Savannah. I don't know, Savannah girl. You in danger? I'm not laughing because it's funny. It's just the wildness of it all. The wildness of it all. This administration is just, the blatant way they do things. I don't want to be blaming somebody, the mother, the sister, the brother-in-law. I don't think that's right to just be publicly putting people's names out while they're grieving. But something is not right, especially since there was ransom requested. There was money, no, was there money requested? No, they just, I can't remember. I know they put out um reward money. There's still $1 million reward money, but like I said, they done shook down the DoorDash driver and threw all kinds of allegations toward family members, and we don't know nothing. Bitcoin? What do Bitcoin have to do with it? Did the lady? Oh, they asked for Bitcoin. That's what they asked for. That's right. This is a funny story. I don't Bitcoin or any of those things, but I got an email one time from somebody telling me that they have seen all of the salacious things that I've been doing within my house. And if I don't drop $2,000 worth of Bitcoin in 24 hours, they were going to email all my friends these, nasty things that I was doing within my home. And I was like, well, run it, because I don't know. I don't know how to Bitcoin. And I know that there's nothing going on in my house that's interesting, for anybody to see. But yeah, we don't know what happened to Savannah's mama. And it doesn't seem like they're in any, rush to find out what's going on. What'd you say? Patel was over the investigation. So I've seen so many strange things about Patel. This guy, you know what? Just like Kristi Noem and whatever her name is, the judge over. You know how I get brain fart, brain freeze. I feel like Patel is gonna get thrown under the bus just like the rest of them. Once they're done with him, he done forgot he brown, and then brown people, y'all are gonna have a rude awakening. I feel like. What's the lady's name? Because now it's bothering me. I know I had I'll be saving some things. Did y'all know? Okay, since I'm right here, I'll go ahead and share this. But I use the woke ginger a lot, as reference to to some, he's out there letting us know who the MAGA people are. But he was fired for criticizing Enterprise, St. Louis City, South Carolina. So yeah, he out here suing the people because they fire him for speaking the truth over here. So we want to hope that, the woke ginger, he's still out here speaking his truth, but we want to see him, get his just due. Here's her name. Attorney General, goodness, Pam Bondi. That's her name, Pam Bondi. This Patel is going to get thrown under the bus just like the rest of them. What are y'all talking about over here? He messing up the Charlie Kirk case. You talking about Patel? So he gonna be out. I think he's just not very smart. I think he's not very smart. He's over here, forgetting that his skin is brown. He thinks he's one of the guys, and he is going to find out real soon here that he is not. Trump is like playing, checkers with moving pieces around, replacing people. Like, he's out. Let me see. Call my buddy. He can have the job now. So, yeah, Patel is out of there. Let's see. This story right here caught my eye. Black women turned away at a Houston restaurant over dress code while non-Black customers were in similar outfits. This happens a lot, I feel like. So she had a reservation. She was dressed and they still turned her away. Cody in Houston canceled their birthday party dinner over an alleged dress code. While non-Black women in similar outfits walked in, we see exactly what it is. Has this ever happened to you? Well, first I want to go over here. Let me I want to show y'all the dress code for what is this place? Cody. He's also endangering the short kings. Y'all are funny. They did say Trump was getting ready to remove more people on his cabinet. Yeah, he just switching people around. He's, entertaining his power as the new king. So, Cody Restaurant in Houston. Are they wrong or are they right? This is their dress code. At Cody, we strive to create a refined dining experience and truly elegant setting to ensure a comfortable and sophisticated atmosphere for all our guests. We require appropriate attire. Our dress code encourages smart wear, which I was like, what the heck is that? It's just, regular clothes, basically. Smart wear, I guess, has some type of digital maybe attachments to it. So our dress code encourages smart wear, business casual, or professional attire to uphold standards of elegance. Athletic wear, sleepwear, slippers, excessively revealing clothing are exposed exposed undergarments are not permitted. Management reserves the right to decline entry to guests who do not meet these requirements. I'm twerking on the fence with this one, y'all. So let me show you what these ladies had on, and y'all can decide with me if you think that Cody was, being racially profiling, or, were these ladies doing too much? So here's this young lady and her birthday friends down to this restaurant.
So we're here at Cocody. We had a reservation, guys, and I'm gonna show you what everybody's wearing because they're not letting us in because of what we're wearing. So first of all, they can't let her in because our dress is short. They can't let her in because they said our dress length is short. They can't let her in, but because of our chest.
She cut my shoulders.
Oh yeah, they said her shoulders, and I will literally show you guys what all the girls are wearing that are not us, by the way, and they're letting them in. Mind you, these girls just came out from Cocody, and they didn't even let us go inside at all. And they're letting them in. They're letting them in. They're letting them in. Yeah.
Oh wow, that lady. I'm telling y'all what the fuck. This one is beautiful, cute. There's been money.
They're not letting us in because of what we're wearing. So we're here at Cocody. We had a reservation.
Okay. I feel like it's the young lady in the yellow dress. The guidelines, the dress code says that no undergarments. So the young lady in the yellow dress, her dress is short. I could see her panties. I could see her bra. Her boobs are, she's voluptuous, so her boobs are falling out the dress. You said they basically have on the same thing. They do. That's why I said I'm twerking on the fence. So the non-melanated women, her dress was short, but I couldn't see her underwear. And I feel like it's the lady in the yellow dress maybe that's with them. And I'm not, these restaurants do this stuff all the time. But I don't know that the comparison necessarily, I feel like they seen the lady in the yellow dress and then they start picking on all the girls in the short dresses. What are y'all saying? The other people's outfits don't look like spandex. I'm on Cody's side with this one. It's the girl in the yellow dress. Is it body shaming? I don't know, T. I'm looking at her whole underwear. I feel like the lady in the yellow dress might have been, the first one they seen, because I see her bra. The lining of the dress is not it ain't lining. It's all the way up her cooch. And then I feel like maybe they start picking on the other girls, you know what I'm saying, in short dresses, because the three white women, one of them has on a short dress. I can't see through it. Like I said, these restaurants do this all the time, but your homegirl who's out here with her panties on might be the reason why they took advantage of that. You know what I'm saying? Um, yeah, I would say you guys in Houston, maybe don't go to Cody's. You know what I'm saying? You can't support people who are not supporting you. And it's a slippery slope. So, do I think they were discriminating? I think probably. But I also think that the girl in the yellow dress who was, very exposed might be the reason why they decided to go ahead and cancel y'all's reservation. You said it's not as flattering as the other ladies. It's based on the clothing. It's the same outfit. I feel like the girl in the yellow was the reason why they couldn't go in. I feel like, and I'm not talking about because she's plus size, but at the same time, like plus size girls, it may not be easy to hear, but when you're voluptuous, you got to be cognizant of how your clothes is fitting, because you are going to be discriminated against. I just read a story where the lady had to pay, or she couldn't take her flight because they wanted her to pay another $400 for 2 seats. And I'm like, what's the line there? Where do you decide who's too big, who's going to be spilling over? The sweet bill discrimination, we built like that. It is voluptuous. I'm not even talking about her body shape. I'm talking about the fact that I could see through her dress. and the dress code specifically says that they don't want to see your undergarments. So I would be curious to see if they were able to get in, because when you look at the non-melanated women, they clearly are not that discreet about their dress code when it comes to short dresses. My fellow plus size girlies, just because the neck can stretch to fit does not mean you should wear it. Or just find one that actually fits. You know what I'm saying? And when I bought a yellow dress because for my sister's funeral, we all wore yellow. The family all wore yellow. I bought a yellow dress and I was really concerned whether it was going to be see-through. Like when you get those light colors, you have to, and FYI, black underwear is not invisible. When you're wearing stuff that may be a little sheer, you need to get flesh tone underwear, not black. Because now I'm looking at your black panties under your yellow dress. I can wear leggings and it will look different for someone with a Porsche booty. A Porsche booty, yeah. But if leggings are permitted, you can't discriminate. I don't know. When I was teaching, I just told them, all of them, I don't care if you wear leggings or oversized shirts, but your booty got to be covered. The garments today are not made with a lining, and many women don't know what a slip is. You got to have undergarments. They have all kinds of undergarments and shapewear for you to wear under your clothing. And again, when I look at this girl with this yellow dress on, I mean, I'm looking at her bra and her stomach. This is completely see-through. So the other girl in the blue, not so bad, but I feel like when they seen Naked Mama over here, then they probably start picking apart the whole group. So we're going to put Cody on Cody. We're going to put Cody on pause. We don't know for sure that they were discriminating because, your friend came with her panties exposed. I feel like that's may have been the problem in this situation. And yeah, clothes don't come with lining. Remember we used to have a slip for under our clothes and stuff. Y'all need to go back to, and that's because everything comes in spandex nowadays. But like I said, there's plenty of shapewear that, that you can get to combat that. And it's not black. You can't wear black underwear under light clothing. They got brown. You have to get. I bought some undergarments the other day because they match my skin so good. And that's the thing. It's the shapewear or whatever you putting under it. You say, I just think all the girls are wearing skirts that are too short nowadays. The skirt that is above mid thigh. How do you sit with the proper covering? I don't know. Now her booty cheeks gonna be on the seat. And she's not the only one. The one in the blue dress, hers isn't bad. I like I said, I feel like your girl in the yellow got them all. They start picking them all apart after that. The garments today are not made with linings. We said that. Unfortunately, everyone don't know how to dress for their body type. It's true. It's true. And she knew she could see through that dress. She was going to be walking around. I was in the store the other day. The girl had on what looked like a swimsuit cover up. And then she walking trying to, tug on her bottom of her dress. You say, the slip will be showing. I mean, this dress appears to be lined. If you look close enough at it, the lining has hiked all the way up. The dress don't fit. And another thing, I don't have breasts as big as that girl does, but I can't wear strapless. Strapless is not my friend. You got to be a little bitty titty committee girl to wear strapless things. And so she's heavy in the chest, and she got on a strapless dress. So, I know the people was like, yeah, nah. I'm sorry, ladies. I'm leaning towards Cody with this one. It's unfortunate. Hopefully you found somewhere cool to go on your birthday, but the dress code is pretty specific. That's why I went to go look at it, because I was like, are they discriminating or not? Because the other ladies is suing that got told to leave the restaurant just because they was black, and the other folks start fussing. I do not like LeBron James. He is not my fave at all. Nowhere near. But LeBron was over here having a little conversation on the golf course.
At 41 years old. You think I want to do that shit? Being in Memphis on a fucking random ass Thursday. I'm not like the first guy to even talk about it in the NBA. Like, we all like, you guys have to move. Just go over to Nashville. You got Vanderbilt over there. You got the fucking NASCAR. You got a stadium. Don't they got a hockey team too?
Yeah, Predators.
Yeah. Like, they got everything.
Doesn't look like LeBron's going to be on the Grizzlies anytime soon. So Grizzly fans out there.
Yeah, they know. Their only chance was in 2003 if they would have won the lottery. Give me that. And I might have pulled a Eli Manning and not showed up
For the games.
Staying at the fucking Hyatt at 41 years old. You think I want to do that shit? Being in Memphis on a fucking random ass Thursday. I'm not like the first guy to even talk about it in the NBA.
So the title says, what y'all think? LeBron James accused of making anti-black comments after saying the NBA should move travel accommodations out of Memphis to Nashville instead. Somebody said, I like how he put his white voice on. I mean, I guess, child. I can't stand LeBron, but I'm not seeing this as anti-black. Anti-Memphis maybe, but not anti-black. The internet is going up right now after LeBron James made some comments about Memphis that some people are not feeling at all. Some people. Okay. That's the way they wrote it. According to reports, LeBron recently suggested that NBA teams should just go over to Nashville instead of staying in Memphis, seemingly criticizing the city while talking about travel and hotel conditions. He even joked about staying in a hotel there, saying, you think I want to do that being in Memphis on a random Thursday? That comment alone already had people side-eyeing him, especially after Draymond Green previously went viral for also calling Memphis rough when it comes to accommodations. But social media took a step further. Users on X began calling LeBron out, accusing him of speaking down on predominantly black city and labeling his remarks as anti-black. One viral tweet read, I like how he put his white voice on. Okay. With others piling on and questioning why Memphis continues to get publicly criticized by players. And then they were not the only ones, on X. K. Michelle jumped in the conversation. Trying to pull one of the greatest assets that a predominantly Black city has because you don't like the hotel is insane. It's a deeper conversation. I grew up in the South in a very small town called Memphis. The city taught me how to be tough, how to make a way out of no way. The food, the music, the culture. I'll forever want the best for my hometown. I think, just like the restaurant, this is not anti-Black to me. It's maybe a little bit elitist. LeBron James has a lot of money. He has expectations on what his accommodations should be when he goes to stay somewhere. Memphis, Tennessee is 62% Black and 23% white. I think those are the numbers that I saw, which means no money is going to be poured into Memphis. It's unfortunate, but because it's such a highly Black populated city, it's going to be a poor city. They not pouring any money into the city in terms of, luxury accommodations. So I understand, K. Michelle, and her love for her city, but this is not an anti-Black conversation. And he's not the only one that said that. Now, I could sit here all day and talk about how he's a big crybaby and falls all over the court, and I can't stand watching LeBron James play. He can be y'all's king. He is not mine. I do not like LeBron. Okay, so you're talking about a lot of revenue from the city. Yeah, I can see where the city could take it personal. I just don't think he was thinking about any of those things when he was talking. He was just saying he don't like to go there because because it's not the accommodations that he's used to. Should they leave? I don't think they should leave, but I don't think he was being anti-Black either. And maybe like next year, I'm so excited about it. Next year, 2027, we get the Jaguars because Jacksonville has to upgrade their accommodations. Hopefully he doesn't run as a politician. Yeah, he doesn't have a way with words, and he'll probably cry in the middle of arguments, that LeBron. Yeah, we get the Jaguars next year because Jacksonville, and Jacksonville as a city does not compare to Orlando, Miami, or any of the other, bigger cities in Florida. Orlando has tons more to offer, tons more luxury accommodations, I'm sure, than Jacksonville. But we're getting them not permanently that I know of. We're getting them while Jacksonville upgrades the accommodations. So, maybe the Memphis Grizzlies should look into maybe somehow figuring out a way to get that money into the city. I just feel like as a Black city, they're probably not going to see it. There's probably no incentive really to upgrade the accommodations around there. So it's like I said, as much as I can't stand LeBron James, he gets on my nerves. I don't think that was anti-Black. I think that was, I'm a spoiled rich man who wants to be getting my money being comfortable wherever I am. So there's that. Let's see. You said he also said he doesn't like Cleveland, which is a slap in the face because when he was there, there was a shrine to LeBron. Somebody else did bring up Ohio, I feel like, in the comments. I haven't been to Cleveland since I was a child. LeBron, I guess, just has a habit of running his mouth, and I feel like he was in comfortable conversation. And yeah, he didn't have to say leave the city, because yeah, of course the people that of Memphis, who, that's a big deal for them having their team. I'm sure they get a lot of support there. But we can't call everything anti-Black. That was, like I said, I feel like that was elitist. You're talking about a wealthy man who, wants to be spoiled everywhere he goes instead of taking, do I want to go to Memphis on a random Thursday? LeBron, it's a basketball game. So you can go sleep at the Hyatt or wherever they have you sleeping and stop being a big whiny baby, because that's what he is. He's a big whiny baby. Is he anti-black? I don't know. I just don't feel like that. I feel like that particular statement was not just made by LeBron. And so maybe we should, not try to take everything there. We can talk about how he's a crybaby. This man Gino is a crybaby. So this was all over the internet, how this man walked up on this lady and she handled his ass. There's a couple of different clips here, but I'm going to start with this one. And this man, he was lip reading what was going on between Gino and Don. So I'm going to play that first so we can see what the exchange was between the two of them. And then we can get a little bit deeper into how Gino is a liar and a cheater and a spoiled, entitled white man.
Half tired of the playing at the pregame. Why you doing all that, Gino? After, why don't you do it? I do. I fucking do it. Don't go talking fucking shit on my fucking name. Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. Shit, sorry. And then Gino says something, I don't know what. I fucking ain't, boy. Raven Johnson with a high five, like, go get him, coach. I will beat Gino's ass. Let it go. Come on. Hey, girl. I will beat Gino's ass. I will beat Gino's ass. I will beat his ass. Game goes final. Gino straight to the locker room. Are we okay? I would never do that. I would never do that shit. I would never do that shit. What Gino was upset about, post-game presser said he had to wait 3 minutes for handshake with Don. Obviously, just upset about Don putting belt to ass. I'm fucking half tired of the playing at the pregame. Why you doing all that, Gino? After, why don't you do...
That cracks me up. Hey, Motown investor. That cracks me up. Oh my God. I really feel like she beat Gino's ass. How does Gino treat a black woman under him? Students and assistant coaches. Curious. Wonder if his attitude towards his players. What he does do with his players, though, Elsid, is convince them to lie. So Gino had two problems over here. Apparently, she did beat his ass. And she lost to LA though, boo. Anyway, his problem is two lies. First, he said she didn't shake his hand at the pregame, but she did. She absolutely did. And he also encouraged his one of his players to tear her jersey. And we're gonna look at that. Now he sat up here telling these lies as if the film wasn't rolling. So I will beat Gino's ass. That was so funny. So here he is during press after the game.
That's about what I said to Holly Rowe. Why would I? Why would I? I've been coaching a long time. I've never had a kid have to change their jersey because somebody ripped it, and the official said I didn't see it. There were a lot of things that happened in that game. Unless you're on that sideline, you have no idea what's happening on that sideline. No, I mean, for 41 years, I've been coaching and I've been, 25 Final Fours. And the protocol is before the game, you meet at half court. Anybody ever see that before? Two coaches meet at half court and they shake hands. Correct? You ever see it? They announce it on the loudspeaker. And I waited there for like 3 minutes. So it is what it is. I don't have it.
He was waiting for 3 minutes. That's what he said.
Why would I?
He not sorry. He said that one of his players' jersey got ripped, and the referee said they didn't see it. So he been ripped by someone else. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case, or fortunately. So he lied. So they confronted this young lady.
What happened there at the end of the third quarter with the jersey rip and then the jersey change?
It was an accident. I missed my shot. Ripped it by accident.
Eric, can you walk us through what happened there at the end of the third quarter with the jersey rip and then the jersey change?
It was an accident. I missed my shot. Ripped it by accident.
Eric, can you?
It was an accident. That's what she said. She missed her shot and then she tore her jersey, which he said happened. He's seen it because he said the ref said they didn't see it. So clearly he's seen it. What we seen was, yes, T, that girl tore her own jersey. She said she seen it. What you mean fake translator? That's what did you read the lips? Because it looked like he was right on point. I know he said, I will kick Gino's ass. She said that about 15 times. Yes, this girl said it was an accident. She missed her shot and she accidentally tore her jersey. So I don't know. I feel like Gino instructed her to do that. I feel like she was instructed to do that. And yeah, it didn't work. That's why the ref was like, I ain't see that. 3 minutes, it's not a timer on handshakes. Well, he did get his hand shook. Let me see. What'd you say? Lotus Egyptian flower. He treats them like the junk under the barrel. He did what he always does, talk down to another woman, especially a black woman. He was very comfortable. He was in her face and he was about to get his ass kicked because she said, I will kick Gino's ass. Ooh, y'all fast. Gino, get inside. Oh my God, he's full of ish. He is. You feel sorry for the black girls on Gino's team? I don't know. I feel like they were under his influence for sure. And then he sat up there. He said he's not sorry. I think he issued some type of fake ass apology. Nobody wants to hear it. He had to wait on a handshake. You know why? Because she was out doing what she does. She greets the people. She shakes the hand. His hand was included. I don't know what the timer was about, but this is what went down. I'm not going to play the music, but. We got a little T.I. in the background. Boom, boom. She went and she did her little, fist bump. It looks like the people behind the table are all looking forward. Like they all want to get a little palm from Miss Dawn. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what she does. She go over here. She say hi to everyone. Boom. Gino, shake his hand. Now she's shaking everybody's hand. All the people on that side. She's the star of this show. Is that his problem? Because the star came through. That black girl magic got him all in his feelings, but she absolutely shook his hand. So, what is his real problem? Gino, what is his real issue? I would love to know, because this lady seems to be well loved by everybody over here on this court. You said you was at B-Dubs watching, talking about what he say to her. That's what everybody said. That's what everybody said. What did he say to her? He was all up in his face. The people came and she said, I will beat Gino's ass. Love to see that. Literally fist pumps everyone except the damn audience. Well, that would have cost him more minutes. Then he really would have been pissed off. My man Ryan, he can break it down for you because, love me some Ryan Clark. So let's hear what Ryan has to say about the situation.
Basketball's legends faltered. Another, Dawn Staley, stood as tall as she ever has. And what was a masterful coaching performance strategically and game plan wise and execution by South Carolina after Gino Auriemma's pride and his ego and his entitlement pushed him to behave unprofessionally and disrespectfully. And I understand who Gino is, right? The countless WNBA first round draft picks and Olympians and Hall of Famers that have played for UConn under his tutelage are countless. It's undeniable what he's given and been to the game. But in this case, he's wrong. Now, I've never coached women's sports before, but I have raised two young ladies. And the one thing I would never want them to see is for me to have to be separated from a woman in a way that could be seen as aggressive or disrespectful. And we saw that from him. And then there was the statement that was the non-apology to Dawn Staley where her name was never mentioned. Now, the staff should have been mentioned, the team should have been mentioned, but she should have been first because you should allow the apology to be louder than the disrespect. Dawn never played victim. She never pointed the finger. She said, talk to Gino about the altercation, but give my team all the praise for the way they've played. And then Corey Close and UCLA boat races them in the championship, which finishes off a run for UCLA. That was a comeback against Duke, a big win against Texas, and a dominant performance in the championship game. And Dawn Staley, who is a legend, represented the way she was supposed to. She welcomed Corey Close and that team to greatness by saying, we lost to a great team. We lost to a good coach who was a good person and great for this game. Well, Dawn Staley, you're great for this game. And I know they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks, and we shouldn't crucify a man for his worst moments, and some things you can't come back from. But Gino can come back from this, and he will, and nobody's harping on it that he needs to be reprimanded in any way, but I hope he does learn from this. Dawn Staley showed the class and the grace that you should show when you lose to a better team and to a better coach who performed better on that night. We should all be honored to be in Dawn Staley's era. Gino Auriemma should be honored as well. There was no Caitlin, there was no Paige, there was no Juju, there was no Angel, but there was Gino and Dawn, and one of them stood taller than the other. In a weekend where one of women's basketball,
I think he should get booed every time he shows up on the freaking stage. That's what his payment should be. Boo! Every time we see Gino, boo! Another case of white fragility. I feel like sometimes the men are more fragile than the women. And I also feel like I see a lot of white men real comfortable whooping up in a lady's face. Like at the end of the day, since the WNBA is getting their money, I think Dawn would be a great addition to the coaching staff over there, on the professional level. I don't know that that's in her mind sight, but, she's definitely, a great coach and very charismatic. I think a lot of people would love to come see her, buy tickets to come see her. He needs a heating pad today. Yeah, he's still mad. Who is your boo? Oh, Ryan Clark is your boo. You can have Ryan. He might be too young for me anyway. This guy is soft in his critique of Gino. He has to do that. I know. What you want him to say, High Vibe? He should be in his ass. Listen, the last time he did that, it turned into a thing. Ryan came for RG3, and on behalf of Angel, and it turned into a whole thing. Ryan has that ESPN job, and so he have to be careful, how he says things. We could go over here and go, ape shit behind what Gino said, but Ryan, he got that corporate job. He got to be careful how he says things because, they don't mind letting you go now over here. But I got in that RG3 fight. I can't stand him. And you should have seen all the men in the comments that were attached to, their snowflake bride, on behalf of RG3. Anyway, I'm glad Ryan came over here and broke it down. And yeah, so for future, if you find yourself at a game or whenever you see Gino, give him a nice boo. You said Ryan go meet Gino outside and speak privately. Gino don't want that. He not gonna step up to no man. He likes to scream at women. Yeah, he got to protect his corporate paycheck. You think he could go more? Maybe on the pivot. Get over there on the pivot and then let Channing Crowder's ignorant ass do the speaking. Fred will not. Fred will sit there and nod his head. And yeah, maybe, he'll get a little bit more spicy over there. But yeah, so Gino, sit your ass down. And Dawn Staley, congratulations on a, amazing season. And, this is the thing that, coaching like this, energy like this is what gets the eyes on the young girls. And yeah, keep your eye on Gino over there. Probably, taking advantage of, he might mess up the enrollment over there for the basketball team. He keep messing around. The up and comings will look at him and be like, I don't want to play for them because, their coach is trash. What else we got going on as we get to the end of the road? So did y'all see this? Oh my God. Let me start here. We're going to start in the back and work our way forward because who did this? This was over here in Orlando, the AKAs, invited Trick Daddy and Uncle Luke down to their conference. So it says this is via what is her title? Regional Director, Tiffany Moore Russell. To my sisters who are attending the 73rd South Atlantic Regional Conference, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, South Atlantic Region, contracted with Trick Daddy, Y, a rapper from Miami, to perform a selected list of songs after our step and stroll competition on Friday night. We met several times with him and his team to detail our requirements, including attire, language, specific songs. Unfortunately, our requirements were ignored. The language, the lyrics, and the comments made by the artists were not acceptable. I ended the performance because of the disrespect of our organization and for our brand. Our step teams represented the creativity, the discipline, and the excellence that makes our sisterhood proud. And I regret that this performance detracted from our experience. Thank you for my sisters for extending grace and for continuing to uphold the standards of the dignity and define Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated in South Atlantic region. We'll continue.
To see Trick Daddy. Who is that? Man, this is not the Trick Daddy. They're about to give my mama a heart attack. What do you say? Everybody leaving. What's going on?
This motherfucker.
What do you say?
You all my ladies run this motherfucker.
What? Everybody in here 60 years old. What is he talking about?
Sexy motherfucker.
Oh, they done set the concert down. I told y'all he up there doing too much. Y'all know they passed their bedtime. It's about 10:30. They done shut it down. They done shut down the concert.
Let's give Trick Daddy a round of applause.
Trick Daddy is 60 years old. Talking about what?
We went a little too far.
Hey man, I flew out to Orlando.
The fucking mic. I ain't asked to be there, y'all. And I gave you, y'all motherfucker get the rest of my motherfucking money. Do not use me to save face. I ain't the motherfucking one. Don't play with me. And I ain't mean to call you no hoe. The fucking mic. I ain't asked to be there, y'all. And I gave you, y'all motherfucker get the rest of my motherfucking money. Do not use me to save face. I ain't the motherfucking one. Don't play with me. And I ain't mean to call you no hoe. Just had their regional conference in Orlando, and they booked me to perform. Trick Daddy Dollars. Yeah, they booked me to perform. I want y'all to tell me in the comments. I want to know when it's time for Trick Daddy to perform at your event. What the fuck do you think he gonna perform? So the girl name is Tiffany Moore something. Tiffany, the director, the region of the Southeast region of direct. You should have stayed off social media, put my name involved in there, because I heard you running for some type of office or something. I will get on your ass every day until you won't motherfucking win. Don't play with me. Don't play. That's right. So I'm performing for the AKAs, and yeah, I do jump on the D. That's one of my records. You should have known that when you booked me. But don't put out no statement talking about you told me what the motherfucker, you gave me a playlist. You can't give me no motherfucking playlist. This ain't your wedding. Fuck wrong with you? I ain't no shorty. I ain't no little ass boy. Anybody that was in that Sadiddy and was sanctified, they should not been in there once I grabbed that. It had a regional conference. So here's the thing. To whoever your organization is, I don't care if you're the director, the president, I don't give a fuck what you is to this organization. Don't use my name to clean the same face for your motherfucking self. Don't lie on me. That's the definition of my character. Don't motherfucking defamate my character. Okay? Don't defamate my motherfucking character. Don't do that. So I make sure y'all can hear me. First of all, I want to make sure I'm loud and clear so y'all can hear me. So when I tell y'all this, do not defamate my character. I see a post with a director of the AKA gang, or whatever the fuck she supposed to be. No disrespect to the AKAs. most highly respected, some of the most beautiful, attractive, and successful women that I know are AKA. So no disrespect to y'all. This is for y'all regional director who got me totally fucked up. Don't lie on my motherfucking name. But let me explain something to you. The AKA. So here's the thing.
I don't want to do too much. One thing I do know, do not defamate my motherfucking character. Do not. Do not defamate my character. In fact, I'm going to run with that one. AKA in house. Okay, high vibe. Listen, this is what I want to know. Why, who booked these artists? What did you think you was getting when you asked for Trick Daddy and Uncle Luke? And every time I hear Captain D coming, there's only one thing for me to do. I don't care where I'm at or what I'm doing. When I hear Captain D coming, I go, you know, they look like they was having a good time. I don't know. Maybe it was just the director that was offended. I'm not sure, you know, what the problem was or why they decided on Trick Daddy and Uncle Luke. Who is in charge of booking the talent? I'm confused. The regional director knew she was stepping in shit and assumed that no one would notice. Child extends grace to herself. Why? I mean, I don't know. Trick Daddy and Uncle Luke, there's only one, what you say, black excellence? And what you will not do is defamate my motherfucking character. That's what I know. These ladies look like they were having a great time. I'm sorry. I don't know, like, who pulled the plug on Trick Daddy. I don't know what that song is, he said, but something about jumping on his D. Does he have any clean songs? I don't know. Trick Love the Kids? I don't know. And maybe that's the only one. Trick Daddy, I feel like he's worse now than he was then. You said you black, not Greek. Listen, I was when I was in college, I went to fashion school, so the only option was for me to pledge at Spelman, but I'm not a pledgee. I'm not built for it. You know what I'm saying? I don't really, in much respect, like I have some friends, clients that are very heavily involved. I don't know if they was at that concert. I need to message her when I get done here and ask her, like, was you down to the Trick Daddy concert over at the AKA event? I don't know. Like, I feel like I don't understand. I don't understand the choice in booking. We got Trick Daddy and Uncle Luke and a bunch of 60-year-olds, you know, tiny twerking because we can't get down to the flow no more. Whew. What'd you say? Don't ever wear pink and green. Ooh, at his concerts, he might have to let you know. I would not be at a Trick Daddy concert. Who are the people that even attend Trick Daddy concerts? Unless you're from Miami, you know what I'm saying? I get the nostalgia there. Yeah, I don't know what this man sings. How old is Trick Daddy? I think he got to be 60 or close to it. You said you didn't pledge anywhere. So if you were going to pledge, would you be AKA or Delta? I don't know. I'm like I said, I'm not the type. I do not want to matrimony anyone, and I do not want to pledge anybody's Greek fraternity, sorority either. So there's that. Whew. What'd you say? You're not built for either. You said you are not built for either. You was interested in Delta, and they started trying to play silly games when they knew I was interested. I mean, I guess that's what happens when you pledge. The games begin depending on what school you are. T Psi Delta. Because you're a wanna be better than me. That's all I ever think of. I don't want to be alone tonight. Now I'm gonna have to go watch School Days. You had the same experience. You talking about with Delta? They start acting funny. Yeah, I didn't pledge anything. I pledged Rhonda. I put myself at the top of the list a long time ago. Whew. Anyway, child, if you don't want to hear some cuss words and you don't want to get on Trick Daddy and his D, then you might don't want to go to, the AKA events because they're questionable about who they be booking. And you know what else is questionable? Marvin Sapp and his Easter Sunday baptismal practice.
This is sick. Listen, I'm a youth pastor at heart. And we're going to have a slide for the babies. So they'll be able to, they got to be at least 5 up. Let me say that. But for the babies, we can have a slide, and I'm going to be at the bottom of the slide so they can just slide down the slide. And when they're at the top, I'm going to say, in Jesus' name, and they're going to slide down the slide, and they're going to go right in the water. Y'all ain't never seen no baptism like this. Y'all like, what? Where's the spiritual part? It's going to be spiritual, trust me. But we want to just see, sometimes, hear me, you have to be strategic against the enemy. Y'all missing it. Some of y'all babies don't want to get in the bathtub, but they'll jump in the pool. I can't get no help here. I'm by myself. So make sure that you sign them up, sign you up. Y'all got some family members y'all need to just tell them, just come on Easter and just sneak some clothes in the trunk of the car. And just tell them, this is going to be the greatest gift that you'll ever give yourself. And that is a transformed life. So I need to make sure that everyone knows about that. We're going to have baptism for our kids. Now listen, this is sick. Listen.
He said it's sick, and he's not wrong. It's kind of sick. I don't think he meant sick that way, but I think you saw grown people getting baptized like that. They slid down the slide and then into the water. I guess, child, this is the same man that wants to lock the doors until you give him $20. So, lock the doors and give me $20. Tomato. Let me traumatize your children in Jesus' name. You go slide down the slide, and then I'm going to dunk their heads under the water until, I don't know. I just thought this is how we're spending Easter Sunday. Y'all still trust Marvin Sapp with your salvation? Somebody do, child. I don't know, but I don't like this idea. I don't want you to slide my kid down into the water while you hold his head under there. And then what? Is this man holy? He ain't holy to me. Cement block. We're going to tie the kids to a cement block and they go swim with the fishes. I don't know, child. Anyway, that was a tribute to Easter Sunday, I guess. Oh, boy. And then, so I saw this the other day, and I'm going to share this with you first. I saw this the other day, and I was like, they just can't let us have nothing. A slide baptism. Yes. According to Marvin Sapp, he would like to put your children at the top of the slide. Scream in Jesus' name as they slide down the slide. You're going to push their head under the water in the name of, I'm not getting into it. Anyway, I saw this the other day, and I was like, what the heck is going on? We can't have nothing. They want to be us so bad. When I say them, I mean crackers. So this is an old TikTok video that was going around a little while ago.
Okay. Biology major from BCU. Okay. I'm also a chemistry major too. Get 'em. Neurology's what I want to pursue. Go ahead. My name is Terry. Yeah. That's my twin. Oh, yeah. BCU's also where I take. It's therapy, bio, and medicine. Let's get it. Whew. Black excellent. Come on, God.
My name is John.
God.
And these my friends.
We are.
Strong black man.
Come on.
We know you love that melanin.
Okay.
turn. Whoa,
We got some young men over here that were celebrating their Black excellence and letting us know, what they're studying in school, but we can't have it because here go the white boys.
Okay. Biology major from BCU. Okay. I'm also a chemistry major too. Get 'em. Neurology's what I want to pursue. Go ahead. My name is Terry. That's my twin. Oh, yeah. BCU's also where I take it's therapy, bio, and medicine. Let's get it. Whew. Black excellence. Come on, John.
My name is John.
John.
And these my friends.
We are.
Strong black man.
Come on.
We know you love that melanin.
Okay. My name is Terry. Whoa. What it do? Okay. Biology major from BCU. Okay.
I was just insulted by this, as we see how, I don't know, their sense of humor works. So, Drewski came out here and did his impersonation of, your girl, Erica Kirk. So now Jake Paul, whoever this cracker is, he has an idea. Oh, wait a minute. Let me try it again and share it with y'all. I don't even know where Jake Paul came from and why he's getting so much attention, but he wants to be in the blackface. And, I guess, are we encouraging him to do that? I'm not. I don't care what he does, honestly.
Because I've been, over the last couple of days, calling makeup artists, and I was gonna do a response to this and go and do the full on
darker,
and do it and just do it back, because why not?
Yeah,
are we on the same playing field?
I think if there's a way to do it, singing in well, this even this sentence, but if there's a way to do it, I've been here many times. If there's a way to do it, I think there needs to be some black support for the character. I think, I'm saying, say if Drewski or I'm trying to think of somebody else,
Charles Barkley.
If you got one of those guys to be like, hey, Theo, I want you to do this skit with me. Let's do this.
But still, that's pussying out.
You think it is?
Yeah.
To me, there's a level of
doesn't that make us more prejudice?
More prejudice?
That makes us, if we have to partner with someone. Drewski just dropped this,
and he's done it a couple of times.
Exactly. I fucking love it. This is great. This is how humans should be.
I agree.
We should fucking make fun of each other. And I don't see in color, I see in truth and comedy. So, what are we talking about?
So you're saying
what era are we living in?
Dude, Justin Trudeau did, and he's freaking dating Katy Perry. You see that, Justin Trudeau, the mayor of
I was
Canada?
just with him. I was just with them.
No, you were not.
Yeah, at the JP Morgan summit.
He was B-facing. Look at him right there in the middle. Look at the one in the hat in the middle.
He got caught for this before.
Yeah, look how dark he went. I mean, he went.
But to be fair, that picture's in black and white, so we can't tell how dark he went. But
that's fair. That's kind of fair. What about Jimmy Kimmel when he was blacking around over there? Bring that up, huh? Hey, look at him just blacking. I mean, look at that. Even the cross eyes.
That's Jimmy Kimmel?
Yeah.
That's not Shaq.
That ain't fucking Shaq, dude.
I want to ask you something, because I've been, over the last couple of days.
You know what's wild to me? First of all, I did not know Jimmy Kimmel did blackface. So yeah, is Jay Paul? Is he a comedian? Is he a boxer? What exactly is he that he thinks that that we want any of this? First of all, I feel like they're missing the whole point, or are they? Because Drewski's skit was not about being in whiteface. Drewski's skit was about how weird Erica Kirk is. It was about Erica Kirk. And y'all have turned it into this whole white face thing because y'all don't like the way, the mirror looks when somebody does this. So who would you be? Like, who would you be impersonating as you go into blackface? You said you want to do it back because you think people should make fun of each other. I think America Kirk should be made fun of in any, aspect, white face, black face, however you want to do her, because she's a weirdo. And that's what Drewski's joke was about. Jake Paul, you want to be who? You want to dress up as who? And I think it's interesting that he calls out Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley, why he feel comfortable to say your name? You know what I'm saying? I think it can think of other people he can partner up with. He can partner up with MAGA Chili. MAGA Chili is out here secretly unliking things that she liked in the past. See if MAGA Chili will you support you on that. Or, I'm not Black Amber Rose. I'm not Black Amber Rose might want to partner up with you to, be funny in blackface. Maybe you can't dress as Amber Rose because she ain't black. Maybe you should dress as MAGA Chili. I support that. Dress up as MAGA Chili, and dance around singing TLC songs. You could do that. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, I don't think we freaking care. I don't know who this cracker is. Like the last time I seen, he got the shit beat out of him where his jaw was blown up. And, they paid Mike Tyson to, fall on the floor for him. You know who else he might get support from? Nick Cannon, because he's out here speaking untruths and misinformation. But thankfully, and we're gonna end on this note, thankfully there's some young men out here, educated young men who know that Nick is full of it. So let's listen to these boys before we
might not have learned it. Nick Cannon and Amber Rose are multi-millionaires.
Yes. You have access to any book you want to.
And you choose ignorance.
You choose ignorance.
You choose ignorance.
Party.
That's right. Former Democrat, former liberal. I was a liberal Democrat my whole life.
Is that because the bag has got so intense and so heavy that you had a whole nother, you up there at the elite now?
Not even close. Not even close. Democrats don't care about black people. And they don't care about people. They don't care about people of color. And the Republicans do. And that's the misconception.
And you know what? I agree with you 100%.
Thank you,
people
man.
don't know that the Democrats is the party of the KKK.
Yep.
People don't know that the Republicans are the party that freed the slaves.
Okay.
I'm gonna put my history lesson of
Talk
doom.
to us.
Welcome to the history lesson.
Welcome to a history lesson of hell.
We're gonna start at level 1.
Level 1, baby. Take us through it.
The Democratic Party was founded in 1828. The Republican Party dates back to 1854.
So that means the Democratic Party started before the Republican Party. Take that into context when we continue to going. For all the dumb niggas. We gotta walk them through.
We gotta walk them down.
And the Democratic Party is founded, I believe, around Andrew Jackson.
Many of the Republicans were in the North.
Yes.
Meaning a lot of them were like abolitionists. They didn't want the slavery and shit.
Yeah.
A lot of the Democrats were in the South and they wanted to keep the slaves. They wanted to keep niggas picking cotton and shit.
One of the most prominent Republicans around this time was Abraham fucking Lincoln.
Abraham Lincoln. After the Civil War, you know what I'm saying? The radical Republicans wanted the slaves freed and civil rights and shit like that. But the moderate ones, which was Abraham.
Like Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah.
They wasn't agreeing with that.
Hell no.
They wanted containment. They just didn't want slavery to expand into the new states that would join the United States.
Right.
So they didn't want necessarily for the Democrats to completely give up using slavery because that Southern economy, they were planting crops, it was fueling part of the nation, but they did not want to keep expanding it. And that was where the big flashpoint was. People like Abraham Lincoln wrote about how he didn't like slavery, but he wanted to save the Union. And if he could do it without freeing slaves, he would have did that. It just so happened that y'all niggas was ready to die about this shit. So as the war dragged on,
you ready to die about having children born into slavery. And wait a minute, who's the parties again? Where are we at, AB?
The Democrats and the South.
Democrats are the ones that are going to die about this shit, slavery.
Republicans want them freed.
Okay.
Like Nick Cannon said.
Yeah, just like he said. Take us through it. Continue.
After the war, the North started benefiting a little bit more. They started getting a little bit more bread. They said, hold on. Started getting into politics. He's like, you know what? I think we helped these black people a little bit too much. I think we're done. What do you mean? You think you're
Reconstruction era?
Reconstruction era of hell?
Oh.
And during that whole time, though, they ratified the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment.
Had to twist the South's arm to get them to agree to those.
Exactly. People in the North became wealthy. These new wealthy politicians did not see much sense in supporting the rights of Black Americans when the nation, we're talking about Republicans. Right?
Yeah, we're still talking about Northern Republicans.
These new wealthy politicians did not see much sense in supporting the rights of Black Americans when the nation was still largely white. By the 1870s, many in the Republican Party felt as if they had done enough for Black citizens and stopped all efforts to reform the southern states.
Right after the South lost the Civil War, the Union and Ulysses S. Grant and them deployed all them troops in the South to make sure Black people had voting rights and couldn't just get lynched by the KKK. And the KKK began receding during the 1870s.
Yeah.
It was getting packed up by federal fucking troops stationed in the South. And then they struck a deal during like an election in the 1870s. And they was like, all right, we're going to take these troops back out before Reconstruction was fit. The South did what it naturally did. It said, all right, we about to get these niggas back up out of here.
Years passed.
Years passed.
And we get to the Great Depression. Oh shit.
Niggas broke.
The strategy the Republicans at the time were doing was helping when the economy was good. When the economy went to shit, it didn't work no more.
It was not working.
And the president, I believe, at the time was Herbert Hoover.
Yeah.
He said, you know what? We're not finna do no shit about this damn depression gang.
We not about to uplift the people.
not
We're
about
not
to
about to bail y'all out.
Nope.
We're not about to create the FDIC, which now makes sure you can't run out of money.
Run out of
the
money.
banks run out of money.
250,000. That shit that you be seeing when you walk into the bank, that's the FDIC.
Yep. Franklin D. Roosevelt. The what was it? The New Deal, the Green New Deal.
Yes, the New Deal.
He's a Democrat, by the way. He did not align with the fuck niggas.
The
that were
Southern
there before.
niggas. So keep in mind, FDR is a nigga from New York, and he's wealthy. And his entire political model during this time was the Republicans just folded. They didn't want to bail out the people. They didn't want to support them during this Great Depression. Let me create a bunch of federal programs to make sure niggas get lifted out of poverty, because everyone's going into poverty right now.
What that party, JJ?
He was a Democrat.
Oh,
and he got elected 4 times after that.
And the Republicans did not fuck with him.
No, they didn't.
The ones that saved the Black people.
Yeah.
They did not
freed the slaves, Nick.
They didn't fuck with that at all.
They didn't want to bring out niggas out of poverty.
So that's where you see the switch and shit happen.
So you have one party who, after Reconstruction, said this civil rights shit ain't really that much more important. Let's compromise and let's stop doing Reconstruction. Then you have another party that said, well, there's a lot of votes we could pick up if we do these job programs, and niggas don't have money right now. So let's just do these programs. Now, as a Black person in the 40s, you got Party of Lincoln that hasn't cared about niggas and traded it for business interests 30 years ago.
Since the emancipation.
And the new nigga on the Democratic Party who, there might be a lot of race people over there, but these the only niggas talking about like civil rights now, and as Americans we gotta have money in our pocket and we gotta uplift people. And sure, FDR was still racist, but that's why Black people began shifting during this time, because the economic policies of the Democratic Party started benefiting them. Freed the slaves, nigga. What life did they live after?
Like what?
He comes in, he does the New Deal. The New Deal. He's switching the shit up. But then afterwards, we have, the civil rights era.
Yeah, the civil rights era is very important. So the economic stuff was the shit that happened first in the 30s and 40s. Black people are like, yo, okay, we might not be poor if we vote for these. The social shit is what happened in the 50s and 60s. Because neither of the parties wanted to really touch civil rights, Black people, brown people, all the racist shit they was doing in America. Until I think it was Eisenhower and them started talking about desegregating the military. This is pissing a lot of them same Southern Democrats that like the slavery off. So during the 60s, you literally saw, you go back and look at the fucking electoral maps, the Southern states split off and did not vote for the Democratic Party in the presidential elections and all throughout this fight for like the Civil Rights Act. They voted for this one nigga who was like segregation now, segregation tomorrow, segregation forever. He was. There's a viral clip of this nigga saying that. He was like one of the like most racist Southern. They called them the Dixiecrats.
Oh yeah.
That's where the Dixie niggas.
The Dixiecrats form in the 50s and 60s because half the parties like we should desegregate the military and continue the FDR thing and care for people, and the other half is like, fuck them niggas. So they like, we don't fuck with the Democrats no more. So they voted for their states' rights nigga over even the Democratic nominee. And then we get into,
and now you see more of the separation. Now the same people that did not like FDR, the same niggas that don't like the other people going with the civil rights shit.
They said we need a party.
We need somebody to represent us.
Somebody to represent us.
And then
here comes
them Republicans.
Here comes Richard Nixon.
Here comes Richard Nixon
and Ronald Reagan in the 70s and 80s with what's called the Southern Strategy. You want to know what the Southern Strategy was? We're not going to say you niggers should be in segregation anymore, but we're going to say you can't force my state to desegregate these schools because that's abridging my state's right. State's right to do what? Stop Ruby Bridges from sitting in the classroom with Billy Nem? What scientific reason could you ever have for stopping Ruby Bridges from sitting in the classroom?
You know what it is,
Billy?
We freed y'all, but at the same time, let's put crack in y'all neighborhoods.
Hold on. What party is Ronald Reagan again?
Republican. So now you have this block of people in the 60s and 70s in the South.
care about the black. The Republicans care about the black people.
The Republicans care about the black people when they freed the slaves. But in the 60s and 70s, when there was this group of white, disaffected Southerners who felt like neither party was representing their viewpoint because none of them wanted to be like, fuck the niggers anymore. Split off. And then these white people, Reagan and Nixon, came in and said, we can get those votes.
We can get those votes.
We need those people. We need those votes. Because if we do the right thing, we could take the South from the Democrats.
And what happened?
They rolled out the welfare queens, stigmatizing black people. They rolled out the crack in the communities. But these niggas is doing all this crack. This is why we got to disrupt their communities. They're spying on civil rights leaders. They admitted as much. They killed civil rights leaders. They doing fucking with the Iran Contra stuff, where we're selling drugs and smuggling it across borders to fight the communists. Halfway across the world,
paying off and starting up fucking cartels.
Let's cut taxes for the wealthy. So all that money that the rich was forced to pay into these programs to help these government programs to lift up people out of poverty, they're now underfunded. What evil niggas would make this the electoral strategy of a whole
Democrats?
Party? No, the Democrats started off as the niggas who like slavery, and you let them niggas outflank you on social issues because you wanted electoral power.
I remember learning this shit when I was in school, and I know some of y'all might not have learned it. Nick Cannon and Amber Rose are multi-millionaires.
You have access to any book you want to.
You have access to any book, any person, nigga. You could talk to W.E. Du Bois' nephew.
You could read any other thing from W.E.B. Du Bois.
Yeah.
On the phone.
You got the phones.
And you choose ignorance.
You choose ignorance.
You choose ignorance. Yeah. You brought up W.E.B. Du Bois. The reason why W.E.B. Du Bois said, oh, it's just one big party with everyone sound woke when they say the one big party with it's not on one side or left or right.
Same bird.
The same
What
bird.
did W.E.B.
Wing. Why would W.E.B. Du Bois say that? First
what
of all,
time period did this nigga grow up?
First of all, this nigga grew up in the middle of Jim Crow fucking America in the 1910s and 1920s. Second of all, the reason why people on the left or people who are more sociologists or people like W.E.B. Du Bois say things like that is because neither of these parties stopped and said, yo, we have to champion the struggle for minorities generally and bring that equality actually out. Each one of these niggas stopped short of one thing because they don't want to piss off this rich person or the white people maybe, or maybe we can't fully end slavery. It's nothing but half measures. So I can understand why, from like a historical perspective, you look at that and be like, the government ain't here to represent the common guy. It's just they trying to please as many wealthy people as possible. What they didn't say is, yes, W.E.B. Du Bois, that's the case. And that's why you should vote Republican. That's why you should vote for the chief niggas right now who are exploiting all
right now.
niggas.
Now we're talking now. Now we're talking 2026.
Yeah. Let's not forget, some of these Democrat niggas do have that little tendency. We seen what you did with Mom Donnie. We're not stupid.
Oh, yeah, exactly. No, establishment Democrats are still here.
Yes, but
alive
when
and
you look
well.
at the overall thing, what are we talking about?
What are you talking about? Yeah. What's the narrative that you're creating by saying the Democrats are the one that had slaves and the Republicans really freed the slaves? What's the meaning of that when we're living in a time period right now where the Republicans are fucking children?
The reason why this is so like insidious and dumb is because it's literally like new nigga who's never researched politics or doesn't know a goddamn thing about history gets presented with some out of context information. And then they make that their entire identity. And the fact that they agreed on that point, that's exactly some shit that Amber Rose would do. Because when you say this talking point, the Democrats was the real ones that owned slavery, it makes them feel special and mighty because in their mind, they actually broke the matrix, actually got off the Democratic plantation. Because look, they the ones who had slaves 150 years ago, even though all the white people that are in the Republican Party right now, all minimize the effect of slavery.
I remember learning this shit when I was in school. And
I love this so much. It makes me a proud mom to some extent because this is the way my kids sit around and talk. This is the conversation that my kids have with each other and with me. I love that these kids have broken down the history of politics in a way that everybody can understand, that their peers can understand. And I hope that Nick Cannon sees this so he knows that, you know, how he got his ass lit up by these young, intelligent Black men. I think this is like probably where we should get off here. What you say, Elsid? Nick does not speak for all. He needs to go take care of his kids and spend more time with them. Hopefully he won't be spewing the ignorance that, you know, he was spewing over here with Amber Rose. Hopefully his kids, you know, are more educated than he is. And, Yeah, I love this. So we're going to end on that note, y'all. Thank you for hanging out with me. It's been a great Monday. We've been here for a long time today. And so, yeah, y'all like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll be back tomorrow. I'll be back actually tonight. Atlanta Housewives started. So, yeah, and it was good, y'all. So, if you're not doing anything tonight at 7, come hang out with me. We could talk about these housewives of Atlanta. In the meantime, y'all, I'll see you when I see you. Bye, y'all.